Aww. Cheers.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back, beautiful people, to another episode of, you guessed it, your favorite podcast, Right Beside You, where we do life right beside each other. I'm your host, Christina Nicole, and I am here today with my best friend, my lover, the one and only
Your opposite.
Georgie D.
What's happening?
How you doing today?
Oh, it's a beautiful day. It's hot outside, so I brought me a cold one. How are you doing today?
I feel a little sweaty all over.
We can get you some right guard after the show.
Nah, I just keep it all natural.
Oh, funky. Well, that's the opposite of me because everyone knows that I am oh so very clean. But today's episode, we're digging back in deep to the topic of opposites attract.
Ba-da-dum-dum.
Our message of the day comes from Allie Brenner, some person I found on Google with an image search. And what they said is that sometimes opposites attract and find out they're not as opposite as they thought.
Nice. I like that.
So what prompted this episode was that we took the Myers-Briggs personality test and found out that we are 4 for 4 opposites.
Ooh. I am definitely not surprised. Are you?
No, not even a little bit. Because I got the high score with the ENTP, which they call the debater type personality. But there's no debate that I won.
Wait, hold up. You got the high score?
Well, what did you get?
I got the higher score, or the highest score, of the ISFJ.
I'm going to have to debate you on this one.
Of course you are, because that's what you are. But I am more of a defender.
So you're willing to defend your position that you got the high score?
All day, every day.
So who's the debater now? But what's really interesting about all this is that, like I said, we're 4 for 4 opposites. Every single one, there is 2 possible outcomes for your personality type. And there's 16 total types that you could be. And each one we were opposite. So I'm extroverted, she's introverted. I'm intuitive, she's something else.
Sensing.
Oh. I am thinking. And she is
Feeling.
and I am prospecting. And she is
Judging.
so it's really interesting because we always have 2 different perspectives on everything, and a lot of times she will say something and I'll say, oh, I didn't even think of it that way.
Yeah.
Or I'll be doing something, she's like, oh, I would have never thought of that.
Yeah.
And I think that for us, it works because it allows us to fill in the other person's blind spots.
Absolutely. We would argue that it is beneficial to be opposite.
Or oppostand. I'm sorry. I don't know why I needed to put a dad joke in there.
I'm glad you recognized that it was a dad joke.
It was not a bad joke. It was a good joke. Okay, I'll
Sit,
stop.
stand. Okay.
But so with my personality types, there is certain strengths and weaknesses, and I think Christina will definitely agree with all of my strengths. She'll say that I have even more strengths. But the strengths are that I am a knowledgeable, quick thinker. I'm original, an excellent brainstormer,
when you get started,
energetic, and extremely good looking.
I don't think that last one was a part of.
No, it's right there. It's on the page.
Oh, okay.
And my weaknesses are none.
Okay, The Rock.
If you smell what the George is cooking,
it's probably a fart.
I'll be glad to share it with you.
And my strengths consist of supportive, reliable, enthusiastic, loyal, hardworking, and good practical skills.
Well, I've said from day one that you loyal. You real loyal.
Loyal to my soil, baby.
Never leave the pad without your blessing oil.
Hallelujah.
And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, my weaknesses are allegedly I can be very argumentative.
Allegedly, that is 100% accurate.
These allegations are blatant slanderosity.
George.
And I will not stand for the falsehood of the defamation of my character and my good name.
George, we could be talking about anything. I mean, the color of this couch that you're sitting on. I'm like, wow, that's a pretty black couch. I really like it. It looks comfortable. And your response would be something along the lines of, I'm just going to play devil's advocate here and say that it is not the color black, and it's more of a deep, 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 dark, 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 grayish purple.
I would have to argue with you on that one and say that black is actually the absence of color.
Okay, well, let's be political.
Did I just prove your point?
Let's be... So yes, argumentative, yes. What about the others? Like, are you insensitive?
No.
Are you intolerant?
I don't think so.
Can you find it difficult at times, or all the times, to focus? Because this is what the test says. These are the questions you answered.
Do you want to play the guitar? Oh, what were we talking about?
Exactly. It's so hard to get you started. Even doing this podcast, people, I have to keep you on track. I have to constantly remind us, what are we doing? What were we supposed to be doing? Because George will start working.
That's
and
my
then
working song.
2 seconds later, I'm like, all right, how's it going? How's the progress? Oh, I came across this YouTube tutorial on how to build a computer. Yeah. Or how to build a rocket car ship. That's what I'm looking at.
That doesn't sound like me at all.
Okay. Well, the proof is in the pudding, baby.
Well, let's talk about your weaknesses.
Okay.
It says here on the page that you are humble and shy.
Would that really be a weakness, though? Because my parents raised me with this concept of, hey, just be humble. No need to brag. Just let your actions speak for you. Go out on the field, give 110%. You ain't got to be show-stopping and bragging about yourself. So I would actually argue or defend myself, because I'm the defender, and say that humble is a strength. Shy, yes. Definitely agree with shy. Although people do not believe that. I 100% identify as being shy and introverted.
I would say that those can be weaknesses. Not necessarily that they are, but there are times when you do have to step up and be like, yo, I'm the ish. What's up in this thing?
Gotcha.
Another one is that it says that you take things too personally. I'm not going to agree too hard with this, but...
Good choice.
The answer is yes.
Yes. I do take things personally.
Do you think that you take them too personally?
Okay.
The answer is yes. It says here that you repress your feelings. Wrong.
I don't think so. Yeah. I think we can agree to that.
It says that you will overload yourself, which I see you do that a lot of times where you get so just wrapped up in what you're doing. Like even with this podcast, there's times where you're like, I have to do this and I have to do that. And then sometimes you end up overloading me because you're like, did you make this? Did you make that? Do this. And I'm like, hold up. I'm still on task 1.
Yeah.
And you're on task 4. No. I don't even get a chance to finish task 1.
Finish.
I don't even get a chance to go get lost on YouTube.
Yes, you do.
Before you come with tasks 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 M's in my bank account. M's in my bank account.
Hey. I would argue that, yes, I do overload myself. I do hold myself to high expectations. And I do have lists that I will write what tasks I need to accomplish. And because you're my partner in life, you get pulled along on that list, and I have to hold you accountable too. Hey, George, did you finish this? Hey, how is the progress on this? What's going on with this? Did you inquire about this? You said you were going to call about this. And yes, I do hold you accountable. However, someone has to do that because it says that sometimes it's hard for you to focus.
That's fake news. The other 2 weaknesses it has for you are that you are reluctant to change and too altruistic, as in sometimes you can give too much of yourself. Mm-hmm. Is that something that you agree with or disagree with?
I would say I am somewhat reluctant to change in regards to plans because you are so spontaneous and, oh, we're going to do this. But then,
ice cream.
Yeah, 5 seconds later, oh, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to do that. And I would question you and say, no, you said you were going to take me to go do this and we were going to the beach. And then you just decide, nope, we're not going to the beach anymore. And I would say, I have my bathing suit on though. So yes, reluctant to change in that regard. However, as far as evolving personally and eternally, that is something entirely different that I am not reluctant to. I'm very much so open to that. And that's important because the only thing that is constant is change.
Okay. So how do you think being an introvert affects you in your day-to-day operation and how you navigate the world? Because I know that's something that we often clash over. But then at the same time, ever since stay at home and the world closed down, it's almost like we flipped and I become the introvert and you've become the extrovert.
Yeah, I think as far as identifying as an introvert, very early on in my childhood, I didn't know the particular word, but I did know that it was challenging for me to walk into a big group or a big party or a crowd of people and introduce myself or say hi or spark a conversation with a stranger. that is challenging to me. And in most cases, I will not do that. So I remember going to practice. My dad would drop me off at softball practice, and I would walk into the dugout. I would put my bag down, put on my cleats, and start warming up and stretching. And I didn't realize this, but my dad would consistently try to encourage me and say, hey, when you walk up to practice, say hi to everyone, greet everyone, engage in conversations, go talk to your teammates, go say what's up. And there would be groups of teammates chatting and hanging out, and I would just go start stretching on my own. And I thought that was me being a leader and taking initiative to start warming up, but it was really my defense mechanism and saying, oh my gosh, this is scary. I may have a little anxiety over being the first to initiate the greeting. So if someone were to say hi to me and ask me, hey, what's up? How's it going? No problem. What's up? How's it going? I'm great. Good day. How are you? But I will not initiate that.
See, and then I'm the total opposite because I'm like a dog. Oh, that guy's driving the same car as I'm driving. We're friends. Hey, like last night I went to get gas. I ended up standing there for 10 minutes with some dude I've never met at the gas station talking about cars, pretending to pump gas so that we didn't anger the people behind us waiting in line. And I don't know, for me it's always been, how do you make everyone laugh in the room? And the answer is because I'm extremely good looking and I also have a great sense of humor. And I'm the most humblest dude ever.
You definitely make friends everywhere you go. And the other people may or may not know that you guys are friends. For instance, you will follow people in your car to wherever they're going and say, hey, I have a car, you have a car, we have cars. I like BMWs, you like BMWs, we're friends. And sometimes they look at you like you're crazy. And that's how I initially look at people when they approach me in a very aggressive, attacking sort of way.
We're friends.
Yeah, I kind of shrivel up, and in my head, I just want it to end. And that type of environment scares me. Like, oh, why are we going to a big party after a week of work and exhaustion? And that's one of the questions on the test. After a long, exhausting work week,
turn up.
Does a fun party sound attractive? And my answer is no. And George's answer?
Hell yeah. But as the stay at home and the world has been closed, I've been totally cool with staying at home, not leaving the house, editing some video, working on my computer, working on my bike, working on my car. It's been really easy for me to find things to do by myself, and also simple stuff for us. Like, we were playing Super Mario on Super Nintendo. Mm-hmm. And I'm totally okay with doing that for 12 hours and not leaving the house for 2 days and coming out with a 5 o'clock shadow looking all pasty. Whereas you're now the person that's like, I gotta go. I gotta get out the house. I'm feeling drained. I need energy. I gotta do something else. This ain't working for me. And I'm like, psh, ain't nobody bothering me. I'm chilling. So I think that's just been really interesting how before I was always the one like, oh, we gotta go here, we gotta go there, we gotta do this, we gotta do that. And now you're the one that's like, we can't just stay in the house all day. We got to go do something. And it's just funny how those tendencies in, I guess, a time of stress to a certain degree and a taxing time on your mental health has totally flipped our tendencies and what we want to do.
Yeah, I agree. That has definitely been interesting during these last few months together. And I would have to reflect on them and say, it's not that I want to get out of the house and go to a big party or a concert. I just need to get out of the house and spiritually connect in nature. And that's something I feel drained and exhausted if I'm constantly stimulated in a social environment, or just the aspect of being socially engaging 100%, that drains me. But my escape and where I do recharge is when I fully immerse myself, spiritually connecting myself to nature. And that's why I love going to the beach. I love jumping in the water. I love going hiking. I love traveling and just experiencing new things in the world. And that's what I miss. Not so much the parties. And I think for you, you're just like, I have to work on my car. Yes, this is the perfect opportunity. I literally have all day Saturday and all day Sunday. And my question would be, do you even take a shower?
Objection. I would like to object to that on the account of relevance. That is not relevant to this conversation, whether I take a shower or not. Before the record, I do. I think one of the other things this is a small thing, but since we've been kind of by ourselves and not really interacting with other people a lot, I can make a tri-tip and I get the whole thing to myself.
True.
Just 2.5 pounds of teriyaki goodness. And if you ate tri-tip, I know you'd want a piece.
Would you share?
I'd ask you if you wanted some first, and then if you said no, you wouldn't get any. I think that's fair.
I think so too. What's interesting is, although I can be very private and mysterious and closed off at the beginning, I do have those walls up as a defense mechanism. When I truly feel comfortable around the people that I love, for instance, my family or close friends, because I do keep a very tight circle.
How tight?
Tighter than butt cheeks tight.
Oh.
Although some people may perceive me as being quiet and private, my family cannot get me to shut up sometimes. My nephew, shout out to him, he calls me loud all the time because when I'm comfortable singing, dancing, joking, laughing, smiling, screaming, playing a game, all of the above, when I'm in my comfortable element, you really can't get me to shut up. So I have extroverted tendencies for sure. And it does take me a while to open up to people. And that's something where people who know me would never think that I'm shy at times, you know?
Yeah. And from a dating standpoint, one of the things that the personality test said about me was that early on, I test my partner's limits. Is that something that you experienced?
I think you're constantly testing my limits.
That sounds like a shot.
But are you alluding to anything in particular?
No, I'm just curious because I feel like there are certain things where I think we kind of tested each other's limits, like with the flatulence competition.
Oh, the one I won.
I don't remember it that way. The way I remember it was you pooted and I raised you a fart.
I think it's important to mention that I'm the type of person who could sit and talk to you for 5 hours straight and feel energized, because I gauge a lot of times on the vibe and the energy and if the situation is peaceful. So once I'm in an environment where those boxes are checked, I'm comfortable, I can sit there and talk to you on more of a deeper level. And that's where I think at the beginning I was trying to dig deep into your soul. And you're so funny and friendly and
so you admit
sometimes
that I am funny.
A comedian. And a lot of conversations were just superficial. And I would have to argue that I challenged you to dig deeper. And there were times where you were resistant. But all in all, would you say that now it's made you a more soul-searching person?
I'm not Oprah or nothing. But I guess, yeah, I think I would have to agree with you because I wouldn't have gone out and taken a test like this.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't. There are certain things that I wouldn't have even paid attention to because of you. And I think there's certain things that you wouldn't have paid attention to without me. Like you wouldn't know what a sweet E30 is if it weren't for me.
Yes, because that level of knowledge has increased.
You are enlightened.
Right, yes.
You are enlightened.
Absolutely. The fact that George can listen to a car very, very far away and know exactly what it is just based on the sounds of the exhaust and the muffler and all of that stuff that I have no idea about, very impressive. So I would have to say and agree that maybe you have enlightened me.
Do you think us taking this test has helped us to understand each other?
100%. This test comforted me in ways that I didn't even know I needed, because it helped not only me understand me more, but me understand you, my partner, more. And knowing that you do need that social engagement. For you, you are completely 100% energized by going to a party and hanging out for hours upon hours and never questioning, hey, should we go home? Are you tired? Turn down for what is your philosophy?
What did Snoop Dogg say? The party don't stop till 6 in the morning.
And I think it's helped you understand me, because a lot of times I would have to excuse myself and step away from a gathering of some sort and just take a break.
A nap.
And that's where I got the name
Sleepy,
because I would have to go take a nap. And that refueled me so that I can come back for round 2. It was just
for another 30 minutes.
Exactly. It was a brief intermission. And people would question, hey, where did Christina go?
Oh, she's just sleeping.
Taking a nap. Re-energizing.
So I think that all in all, this has helped us in our relationship because now there's certain things you can do. I'm like, oh, that's the little planner. Mm-hmm. And then I am somewhat of a thespian and a contrarian of sorts. And you always say, that's just you being the great debater.
Oh, absolutely.
Which I felt like that was a little bit racial because that movie was about black people.
The fact that it says you're very argumentative just solidifies what I've been saying to you because you did not believe me. Every time I would respond and say, why can't you just agree? The couch is black. You would have to say,
is it a couch?
Is it a color? Or is it the absence of color?
Think about it. You got to think. It's not illegal yet.
And also, one of your weaknesses being difficulty focusing, that has truly freed me. Because I thought, why is George over there painting his bike when he said he was going to clean the kitchen? And he would argue, I cleaned the kitchen for 5 minutes and then I went to go do this. And then I realized I had to do this. And then I started doing this. And then so-and-so called. And then I had to go to the restroom. And then I would go in the kitchen and I said, you clean the kitchen? Well, I started to clean it.
I don't like the negative connotation of difficulty focusing. I believe that I have more of a diversity of attention, which means that I can lend my attention to many different tasks. And it is diversified, like your bonds. You need to diversify your bonds.
You better preach.
That's my financial device.
Are you drunk?
Not yet. You need to diversify your bonds and diversify your attention because you have to pay attention to everything. Things are going on all around you. You can't always have that laser focus. Rest in peace, Mamba. Yes?
I would argue that you can be laser focused because I will not finish a task or something that I set my mind to do unless it is done. I complete task. I check those boxes. I scratch it out.
I don't even think you finished that sentence. I will not finish a task unless it's done. I have to call you out on that. I'm sorry.
I feel like that is a complete sentence.
I cannot finish a task unless it's done.
What did I say?
You said,
I will
not finish a task unless it is done. All right. I think we can leave the people with that. People, do not finish tasks unless they are done. But that's
what we want to focus on right now out of all the things that you could focus on.
I think that we should encourage everybody to take one of these personality tests. Take it with your partner. It could be a date night. You get you a little wine, answer some questions, eat some steak and some lobster and some vegetables for her. And she likes lobster too. But I encourage everybody to take this personality test because granted, it's not the end-all, be-all defining characteristic, but it does give you another idea and some insight into who your partner is and why they may do things that they do or why they may act the way they act.
Absolutely. I second that. Please sit down. Take the time to really answer these questions, there's a handful of questions. It doesn't take long, probably 3 to 5 minutes. So really dig deep into the answers and sit down and digest them with your partner and say, oh, wow, I didn't know that this was one of your strengths and this was one of your weaknesses. I understand you so much more. And it could also aid in solving conflicts. It could also aid in just understanding how each one operates and moves. And we would like to hear what your
pair is.
Exactly, what's your pair. So DM us, tag us, and let us know, were you guys similar? Were you guys complete opposite like we are? And what was something interesting that you learned about either yourself and or your partner?
Yeah, I think that'll do it for us for today.
All right.
Well, thank you once again for listening to the Right Beside You podcast, where we do life right beside each other. Because at the end of the day,
I'm not above you.
I'm not below you.
I'm right beside you. Cheers.
Never miss an episode by subscribing on Apple, iHeart, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.